So when last we left our intrepid adventurers, we were in the cavern under Allenway that was deserted, and it had all the used up time travel sigils all over the floor. And we knew that an army of time mages, which is what we call the Doppelgangers, has gone back in time to go and interfere with the Great War. And also some Serpent priests went along with. And there's a door that's heavily warded, and it's got at least some leadery type people behind it. Serpent priests, possibly Doppelgangers. So, and Cricket can open it because she has the taint of the void on her. She's part void creature at this point because she has ceased to exist an awful lot, and so she's kind of gotten used to it. Long story behind that. Yeah, she's had her creation erased like twice, I think, and she's been swallowed by a void creature twice. Yeah. Anyway, she can open the door and go through. And so the initial thought is, well, she'll open the door and then we'll all just go, yeah, and go in there and start hitting things with sticks as we are wont to do. But I'm really good at bluffing, so I have a plan. And to my great surprise, everyone said, hey, let's go with that plan. I was boggled.
You're like, I just realized this. We just watched the Lego movie again last week with the girls. And you're like the 1980s space guy who always wants to build a spaceship, and they're always like, no, we don't need a spaceship. And then finally it's like, wait, no one's telling me not to build a spaceship? Spaceship! Spaceship!
Bluffing and stealth! Bluffing and stealth! I'm good at bluffing and stealth! Anyway, so my plan is, I'll go in there and I'll tell them, hey guys, super long story, 600 years ago, when Doppelgangers attacked Cricket's party with Protocol P, you remember that, like a couple sessions ago, we actually won, at least I did. I managed to eat Cricket, but they didn't notice, and so I've been like sneaking around with this party, bouncing through time. Super long story, it's really complicated, but here I am, and I was convinced that they were like, no, that's a stupid plan, they'll kill you, Cricket, and you know, we have to protect you for some darn reason. We want to protect you a lot, even though it's your job to protect us. Anyway, but no, they were like, okay, let's try that. We'll be like right behind you around the corner, so if things go wrong, we can rush in and we can save you. And so, okay, so I do that. I go in. And we see that, or I see, I'm in constant contact using a stone of sending. There's like a disused prison complex behind this door, and they've set up a little headquarters in a side room, like the prison office or whatever. And there's a couple of void creatures. Actually, it was mostly them, wasn't it? It was mostly Doppelgangers.
Yeah, but there was a lot of like lower level.
Yeah, lower level Doppelgangers, and then there was a high level Doppelganger, and then there was a really high level Serpent priest. And these two Serpent guards who are like, you know, big tough warrior Serpent guards. And the Serpent priest is playing a board game with the high level void creature who isn't really getting it at all.
And the guards are also playing it too.
Yeah. So I walk in, and everyone's like, what? You know? And I start into my bluff spiel, and I rolled pretty good. I convinced everyone. They all thought that I was a doppelganger that had eaten Cricket 600 years ago, and blah, 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 blah.
It's
long
very complicated,
story.
yeah.
Except the high-level doppelganger void creature, she was a little suspicious. And so she was like, you know, okay, I kind of buy your story, but I got to come over there and touch you to make sure. And I'm like, okay, because, you know, I'm part void creature. Maybe she's just going to try and sense that or something.
Yeah.
But no, she walks up to me and she does an attack.
No, you attacked her first.
Oh, no, isn't it like she
just won initiative. No, you guys, she was just going to, she never actually found out if you were fake or not.
Okay.
She was genuinely, she believed you enough to, she didn't really believe you, but she believed you enough to test your story.
Right.
Which she never actually did because you realized that you actually attacked her first, but then she won initiative, so she saw you were going to attack her, and her attack hit first.
Right, okay, so that's how combat in 4th edition can get very complicated sometimes with all these interrupts and initiatives and surprise rounds and stuff. So what happened was she came to touch me. I decided, okay, cover's blown probably. Almost made it. Everyone's convinced except she. So I said, okay, I'll attack.
Because if she was going to attack you, it would have been way better to do it from range. She was a ranged character, and she came right up to you, and then you blasted her in the face, which is really bad for her.
So I had a surprise round. She wasn't surprised, so she would move on the surprise round. We rolled initiative. She won initiative, so she got one action, which was an attack on Cricket, which did a few hit points of damage and dazed and weakened her. Dazed means you can only do a single action, but it's a surprise round, so you can already only do a single action. So it actually didn't really harm me. Weakened means I do half damage on my attacks. But the attack that I was going to do didn't do damage, so it didn't affect that either.
Lucky.
So, planning, skill. So yeah, I'm a pacifist assassin. So I have this ability which, when I do a will attack against enemies, and it doesn't do damage, and I miss, I can re-roll with a +2. +2 bonus. And I was doing a will attack that didn't do damage. I was doing, what was it called? Something rhythm or something like that.
Oh yeah, enraging rhythm or
I can't remember. It's a new daily power that I got this level up.
Ooh.
Close burst 5. So
That's a lot of people.
it's rhythm that makes them go crazy, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the what?
It's a rhythm that makes everyone in the room go crazy, like a. They're like,
So I get to slide everyone within close burst 5, which is everyone. I get to slide them 5 squares and then get them to do a basic attack against the target of my choice, and then they are stunned for a round. And I hit everyone. So I had there were a bunch of doppelganger minions in the room. Oh, and outside the room, everyone's around the corner and they're like, oh, holy crap, Cricket has initiated combat. We have to go and save her.
The rhythm.
But I got to go first.
Yeah.
So I had each of the doppelganger minions kill the guy on their left.
Yep.
So pop, 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 they're all gone.
Yeah.
I had the Serpent guards. I shoved them into the back. They're the melee guys, so get them far away. And they stabbed each other. One of them critically hit.
yeah.
And basically, with a spear, stabbed his fellow Serpent guard in half.
Yeah, it was like this explosion, and then it was just the torso part of it, because they were snakes, and they had enough of a snake coil to fill a large square. So this huge snake coil, and then like a human body.
Yeah.
And it was he got him in the leg. So he said, and he did more than his bloody value. So we looked on the table, and that cut his leg off. So I'm like, I guess it cuts his whole body off. And so that guy's just standing there going.
And meanwhile, the Serpent Priest and the high-level doppelganger, they're an artillery and a controller, so they're ranged specialists. They don't want people in close. So I shoved them out the door, adjacent to the party barbarian, who's Hank, who's the big hitty guy, and our party defender, who's the I've locked you down with my weapon, you can't do anything, any ranged attacks, whatever, not allowed. Shoved them out next to them, and so then they're all like, I guess we don't have to rescue Cricket. Let's mop up after Cricket. So yeah, it was John had carefully prepared custom creatures for this combat.
Oh yeah, I'd watched this video on if there really were snake people like that, what kind of weapons would they use? I watched this video, then I custom made creatures that did that and had them all ready to go, and then they just
killed each other.
Everything died so fast.
None of them got a single action because I stunned them as well as moving them.
Yeah.
So the party basically had 2 rounds to pound on them. Yeah. Serendipity. Van Gogh started the Lord, Top Lord, Tower, Shepherd, Soul, Strider, Time, Doom to Lair, Salvation of Children, Star-Lord, End of the End. You have to say her full name.
Okay.
Every time.
It gets harder and harder as the campaign goes.
She hit the doppelganger with chain lightning and did a critical hit and rolled on the hit locations and got the crotch, and so then the chain lightning jumped from the crotch into it was glorious. Into the Serpent Priest. Yeah. So yeah, we just annihilated them.
So that's where the term thunder thighs came from.
That's thunder crotch.
Yeah. So we killed all the doppelgangers because previously we'd had no success with interrogating them anyway. And also Croesus complained endlessly, and that was so annoying. Whenever we took a doppelganger hostage or a prisoner, Croesus would just not shut up about how it was pointless to take them prisoner and we should just kill them. Until eventually we just killed them.
Wait, who's Croesus?
He's our party oblin.
He's the one who's delusional.
Yeah, he's super dogmatic about things. It's just, yeah, super dogmatic.
And whose character is he?
Tim.
Tim doesn't work here.
He's not a Bioware employee. So anyway, we did capture the Serpent priests and the Serpent guards because we figured we could interrogate them.
Yeah.
And Croesus was like, yeah, okay, they could possibly be interrogated. And so we got the Serpent priest and we took him into the basement. We have this magical basement we carry around with us. Yeah, instead of a bag of holding, we've got this folding trap door.
Yeah.
And you can set it up on the ground and open it up, and there's a basement down there.
Oh, okay.
And that's where we do all our secure stuff.
Kind of like the Harry Potter Room of Requirement?
I guess? I don't know. What's that?
Or more, yeah, like a Harry Potter tent or anything like that.
Yeah, okay.
It's just a piece of fabric. You lay it out, it has a pattern of a trapdoor.
Yeah.
Once it's laid out, it is a trapdoor. You go in there, fold it up afterwards.
So we go down there to interrogate the Serpent priest, and again, Cricket's the best. Actually, Cricket is also the most intimidating. She's the highest bluff and highest intimidate. Does she have the highest diplomacy now?
Probably.
So yeah, Cricket is like the most intimidating, the most diplomatic, the most bluffy. So she's going to interrogate this guy.
Yeah.
And he's all like, he knows Cricket. He recognizes Cricket.
Recognizes him.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he was like often did strategic advice for the High Priestess. He also has two heads. That makes him easy to recognize.
Yeah.
That's not common.
Right.
Indeed. So we interrogate him, and he's all like, I can't remember what his demeanor was like originally. It was all
kind of like, I think it was sort of like, you know, not threatened by you, kind of somewhat condescending because
he was super racist.
You've been
right.
trained by me, but you just don't understand. I'm looking at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
I'm not here to bring back pain slavery. In the long run, this will actually end the need for slavery because the Empire will rule the world.
Yeah. And Cricket's not buying that.
They had also read the documents on the table, which were, by that time they'd already read, A, their plan to win, how they're going to win the battle, and B, they have a very elaborate plan made in triplicate so that they can't screw it up, of how they're, these detailed plans of how they're going to ensure that the party members survive and still continue, basically to preserve their timeline, even though the Empire will rule the world.
Yeah.
And they've obviously spent a lot of time hashing that plan out.
But the thing is, that plan does involve more pain slavery. The military will continue to take advantage of pain slavery.
In the short term.
And so, yes, Cricket considers this to be a completely, non-negotiably, irrefutably incorrect thing to do.
Yeah.
And so, he's trying to spin his sweet tales and honeyed words and stuff like that, completely not oblivious. Cricket is completely unaffected by any attempt to try and spin this because it's there in black and white. Your plan involves making some more pain slaves.
Yeah.
No, bad.
He's created his own worst enemy.
And so.
And who would know more about this, the teacher or the students? I don't know.
And she was like, I have been indoctrinated from birth to believe this, whereas you just, I was born in this. You got molded by it.
You merely adopted it.
You merely adopted the teachings of the Temple of Freedom. Exactly.
Yeah.
I didn't think of it at the time, but that was exactly it.
You should have. I wish you had delivered that line.
I wish I had I'll save it in my pocket. I'm sure it'll come up again because we'll probably talk to some more Serpent priests at some point. So yeah, I'm like, no, you may think you know more about the teachings just because you invented them.
Yeah.
But I am super indoctrinated in those things. I'm totally brainwashed.
Yeah.
So there's no way that you know more than I do because I'm brainwashed. And at that point, he starts to realize he might be in trouble.
I just realized this is actually just more evidence for Cricket as to why brainwashing is good.
Yeah.
It's just like, look, people who haven't been brainwashed sometimes break the rules.
They're corruptible. I am not corruptible because they programmed me not to be corruptible. So
I think
they forgot the back door.
I think he still thought he had the upper hand at the point where Cricket asked him, how far up does this go? Does the Serpent Queen give you these orders?
It's the High Priestess.
High Priestess.
Because at the time, I didn't know it was the Serpent Queen.
Yeah.
Right.
Way to spoil the surprise twist ending.
Well, since we just keep calling it that interchangeably.
Anyway, and so he
made a bluff.
He suddenly got all hushed. Yeah.
Cricket made a bluff that she was like, if the High Priestess said, do this, then okay, I'll go along with it, because the High Priestess' word is law.
Yeah.
That's not what Cricket believes, but that's the bluff, that she would do that.
Well, her word is law, and the word is that pain slavery is bad, and so therefore, if she turns in favor of pain slavery, she's bad.
Yeah, no takesy back.
Yeah.
So, it was a really hard bluff check. Cricket rolled well, but almost failed it. But they had two helps from like the party members being like, "No, Cricket," and just barely passed the bluff check. And so he was like, "All right, here, come here, I'll tell you. I swore an oath not to tell you this, but this was the Serpent or the High Priestess's plan all along, and I'm just acting on her will. But she told me not to tell you. But I think given the circumstances, I think it's best to break that word and tell you."
And so I asked, sort of like fake aghast. Well, I was aghast somewhat because the Serpent Priestess raised me from birth in the most recent iteration of my timeline.
Yeah.
It is
very adamant.
She seems so nice. I asked, how does she have any pain slaves herself? At which point he sort of in bafflement is like, of course not. Why would she need pain slaves? She's immortal. And that was when click, 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 the pieces came together, and we all were like, what? And then Cricket was like, well, that's going to make it difficult for me to kill her. At which point it kind of dawned on him that, wait a minute, we programmed her too well.
Our creation has taken on a life of its own.
She has gone rogue and refused to not be a domestic. Anyway, so we killed him.
Our thing
and also the guards. We killed them all.
Yeah.
We butchered them.
Our thing we programmed to spout the good principles that we were using to hide our evil plan has now come back to bite us and insist on good principles.
So we killed the heck out of him, and now we gotta figure out what to do next.
One thing I should just mention is I was mentioning there was some history checking and there's some stuff, and they once they put it all together, they knew about the Serpent Queen, how she had found the Triforce and made the wish, and how they had made this super elaborate wish contract, and then they divided it up into multiple pieces and hidden it so that no one would be able to figure out what the wish entailed. And
perhaps find a loophole that could be used to take her down or something.
And she's immortal from that wish.
Right.
Which has already been demonstrated when it was
that unnamed barbarian cut her head off supposedly, but didn't.
Conan the Bugbarian.
His name has been stricken from history.
Conan the Bugbarian lives!
Even though the Serpent Queen has proven to not be quite the admirable character that was originally thought, that name is still stricken from history because it's still dumb.
Only the Ood are dumber.
Anyway, they should be just waking up from their rock right about now, shouldn't they? It's baseline. Yeah. So our original plan is still a pretty good one, at least in the short term. We're going to go back in time and try to tamper with the time sigils and send that army of doppelgangers to the Oodpocalypse.
Make another time plane.
Essentially, well, it's not exactly a time plane.
Yeah.
We're interfering with the guidance system of their actual travel thing. It still seems like the most expedient and reliable way. So I think we're still going to go ahead with that plan. But then there's the larger issue we have to deal with, the corruption in the Temple of Freedom. we got to fix that.
You got to reformulate how to make domestics too.
Breeding. Phase 1 was always intended to be a temporary measure.
Yeah.
Are you so sure about that now?
I'm pretty sure there was not a phase 1 there.
I'm in charge.
Cricket believes that.
It'll be a temporary measure.
Yeah.
Because that was the plan. If the temple has gone astray from that plan, perhaps we'll just have to correct them.
Right.
Well,
but that will remain a temporary measure.
Yes. I mean, based on what Cricket believes, that's how it should be.
Right.
But whether that was ever the plan from the leadership is now in question.
It's the plan now.
It's Cricket's plan.
If the leadership fails to carry through with this plan, the leadership will be replaced.
I think the rest of the party should also insist that they stop making the temporary one.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's baseline. It's time to stop that.
Yeah.
We already stole all the children that they had been going to be doing.
Oh, right, yeah.
After the baseline.
They had no more
Presumably, they've been collecting more, but we're going to release those as well.
Right.
I mean,
because it's baseline, it's time to stop phase 1. And I was always expecting that. I was gonna have Cricket at some point go to the High Priestess and be like, okay, it's baseline. You have to stop phase 1 now, or my party's totally gonna kill you.
Yeah.
And then she would agree because she's a reasonable person and always planned to go to phase 2 about now anyway, because they're probably running low on phase things. Turns out we may have to encourage her a little bit more strongly than that. But the plan is the plan, and that's how it's going to go.
Right. Because Cricket's brainwashed.
Yes. That's how you know that she is incorruptible.
Right.
As she said, when the high priest was like trying to talk her into,
accepting the alternate reality,
whatever. She kind of laughed and said, "You have no idea the forge I have been through.
Yeah.
That has tempered me."
To believe in our ideas.
Yes, I am the most non-feral domestic that there is probably at this point. Yeah. So yeah, they're in trouble.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I'm actually starting, ever since I let Anthedon in a couple sessions back, what was that for? There was a thing, I was like, holy crap, we need a crazy, ridiculously complicated plan.
I think it was in the Mouth of the Void.
Right, yes, I was in the Mouth of the Void.
Yeah, capturing the Mouth of the Void and saving your original party.
Yes, that's when I made my devil's bargain with Anthedon. And so now he's back giving me ideas for longer term stuff.
I just ran D&D on Saturday again for the first time in a while. So I had to recollect on the further travels of Kevin
Joan.
Okay.
Jone.
Yeah. The handwriting is poor.
Yeah.
The Serpent Priestess is the High Priestess? Oh, that's so weird. What? Oh, I guess there was those Triforce pit. Huh. Oh, some things make sense now. So the High Priestess is actually the Serpent Queen, the immortal being that's been missing for years and years. Well, that's so weird. It's just... Well, I guess there were the Triforce pendants. So okay. I guess certain things kind of line up now and make sense, but bizarre.
So what I'm wondering is, if the High Priestess is immortal, can you take her immortal soul and turn it into a satyr? And then would the satyr be immortal also? And is immortality genetic? Like if she had some little snake babies, would they be immortal too? Or like pseudo-immortal? I have so many questions. Cricket?
Yes?
Can you answer them for me?
No.
Let's go ask your mom.
So it turns out the evil slaving snake priestess is an evil slaving snake queen. It's a big surprise for everybody. On a unrelated note, we appear to be using history's greatest tragedy as a glorified trash can. And I'm not sure how I should feel about it. It's a little disrespectful, but it's also very tidy.
Every time
I find my beliefs tested to their utmost, and I come through in the end stronger than ever in my convictions. I think, wow, I actually made it. I have proven my mettle at last, and nothing could top that. Well, yeah. It turns out that the High Priestess herself, head of the entire hierarchy of the Temple of Freedom, and 1/3 my adoptive mother, I guess. There's 3 timelines there. Yes. She's conspiring to reinstitute the institution of pain slavery. Well, she's got to go then. And I feel, even though I have not yet actually stabbed her, which it turns out is probably going to be very difficult because she may be immortal, nevertheless, I'm feeling at peace with that because it's quite clear what needs to be done. So yes, I am there. I am there.
It's true, it is quite clear what needs to be done. Killing and bloodshed. Let's get on with it then.